Here we go. Everybody, welcome to the TheLJEffect Podcast, affecting your mind and body to becoming your most authentic self. We are live. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. It is, it's been an interesting week. Let's just put it that way. As you guys know, this channel is about embodying the masculine spirit. You know, we're all about manifesting the king, magician, warrior, and lover spirit within men. I truly believe that is all within men, and it is capable within men. I think that we can accomplish a lot through that. And if I could just talk here for a second too, I'm just going to be talking like there's with anything and with everything, there's always got to be a beginning. There's got to be a start somewhere. You know, when I first started this channel, I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. I didn't really know exactly where I was going to be going with this. And I thought that, you know, I just figured that I would just give it a shot. I would do my best, and I would just do what I could to just come up with some ideas and just see where things go. And one of the things I started to realize is that me also being a podcast lover myself and loving to just listen to information and absorb information and just be present with what I'm learning. I'm learning all the ins and outs about things about life, how things work, and trying to get more or less clear-cut answers to what's going on, especially what's going on in the world today. And it's just been crazy. It's just been crazy with everything that's been going on. So I figured, without further ado, I might as well just go ahead and set out on my next project. I figured I would just set out and just go forth and see if see what would come about with me and my projects, and one of the biggest things has been trying to find my niche in this whole experiment, this whole project. And so what I really want to try and do now is take the leap of faith, go forward, no more holding back, and just go for podcasting. So, you guys really appreciate, to my audience, you guys all really appreciate my work and appreciate like what I do and how I do things. And I appreciate that from you guys. And I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I can to create and to be the best version of myself. And that's really what I want to make this channel about. Not only watching me grow and becoming more than what I am, but also watching and seeing you guys grow and transition and transform. I'll just kind of go back through all the basics about what I've started to make my channel about. I just started meditating like last year, 2 years ago. I wanted to try and get through some things in my mind that I was struggling with. And I didn't really know how to go about it. I didn't really know how to go through with it. And I didn't really know how to deal with a lot of the inner chatter up here until I finally figured out that despite how I was raised in what I was taught, I realized that a lot of it is just inner chatter. A lot of it is just mumbo jumbo. And so I discovered with meditation itself, I discovered with meditation, just sitting and being present with my thoughts. I had to start out slow though. I had to learn how to, I had to learn how to breathe. I had to learn how to connect my inner breath, my deep breath with my body and my mind and my soul. And I had to articulate that to a degree to where it was going to help me manifest something bigger and yet better within myself. I had to figure out a way to overcome what was going on up here and just getting rid of all the bullshit. We'll just call it that. And after I started to develop meditation as a practice, I started to figure out, okay, there's a lot more to this technique than meets the eye. And so then I decided to just go ahead and go through with the acts of meditation and the different levels, the different ways that I could learn. So, yes, excuse me. Yeah. It's been a long day, guys, but I wanted to get this done. I wanted to finally get things up and off the ground. So getting back to my point, meditation was key for me into delving deep, to going into that focus, to going into that great unknown within my own mind and within my own mind's eye, to open up that third eye, awaken it. I had to learn to go deep. And there was some scary stuff in there. There was a lot of demons that I had to deal with. And then I had a lot of angels help me along the way too, so to speak. That was kind of my saving grace, On this channel, we like to read. I like to read. I love to read. You guys have seen me do a few book reviews already, and I will continue to do more on the channel for you guys, because that's something that I had a deep love for it a long time ago when I was a kid, and I kind of lost that. One of the things I'm realizing is that a lot of entrepreneurs and people that had this spark and this kindle, they had this childlike state. They had this and they had lost it. And then once they had actually gotten their business going, when they had actually built something that they were proud of, it came back and they were happy. They somehow rekindled that childlike spirit within them. And speaking in metaphors here, but that's really the only way that you can enter the kingdom, the kingdom that can be. And so, as a kid, I used to read a lot. I used to read a lot of fiction, a lot of the kids' stories. Grew up reading, maybe some of you guys know this one, but Maniac McGee by Jerry Springfield. That was a really good book. I read that book 3 to 5 times, maybe. I'm not too sure. But yeah, and it was interesting. Okay. Gotcha. Sorry, guys. Playing with the chat box here. All right. Not trying to get off subject at all. Sorry, guys. So reading I fell back in love with it, thanks to the group Monk Mode and Elisha Long. I'll just go ahead and say that because he really is my inspiration. And along with a few other YouTubers that I follow and other people that follow me back, it was basically me networking with them back and forth to where I was able to get some more ideas, and we were able to kind of play off of each other a little bit, and I really just have them to thank, and Elisha Long, the group Monk Mode, to thank. And I didn't get back into reading until about 4 years ago. And now I'm just I'm having a ball. I'm reading every day. I'm reading every time I'm at work. And I want you guys to be reading too. I want you guys to leave me book recommendations or links, anything that you want that you would think would be a good book to read, something that could inspire you, even if it's fiction too. I've come to realize that some fiction, some high fantasy books are totally worth it. some of these guys, these men embody this alpha male like figure, this alpha male type of leader. And a few of those high fantasy books that I've read so far recently were The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And I'm in the middle of his second book, The Wise Man's Fear. Pretty good. Pretty good. There was a Wheel of Time series, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I really wanted to get into that first book. I'd still like to. And the Wheel of Time series is huge, like total. It's bonkers. They had a few different writers, actually. Man, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry about that. But so, I mean, it all depends on what you're looking for, what you want out of life, what you do with your life, and what you're willing to create and manifest in your life. And so that's what I've tried to make this channel about. Obviously, I like other things that I like to do. I like to work out. I like to stay fit. I believe in having an aesthetic physique. I think that that's one of the best things that you can have. But I'm also finding out that there's different ways to train your body and your mind. I'm finding out that it's not just, standard weightlifting and bodybuilding. I've worked out in those areas, and I've done all those traditional lifts and things, barbell lifts, all of that, those classic squats, deadlifts, bench and bent over rows. There's so many different ways to do that. And I realized that I had to train a little bit more unorthodox because I'm not that tall. I don't really have a good size frame. I got a pretty good frame on me, but it's not to the height and weight where I wanted it to be. So I learned how to train in an unorthodox way. I also had a lot of experience in boxing and MMA, so a bit of the mixed martial arts. Even trained myself in Qigong a little bit, and it wasn't too much training there. I also learned earlier on about how to do some yoga moves and how to do mobility stretching, which I've been doing as of recently. And with everything going on right now too, it's just been more of a stay-at-home thing. It hasn't really been much of an active lifestyle as of late, aside from me going to work and me doing what I need to do for my day in and day out job. But I've been experimenting too, and I'm finding out that there's more than one way of just being aesthetic. There's multiple layers to it. It's phenomenal, especially with what people have discovered and what people have been, what people have taught and what people are teaching right now, even on YouTube channels and starting websites and things of that nature. I eventually want to get a website up and running. I eventually want to get some sort of a blog going for you guys, for my fans, and I want to keep you guys informed. So many different ways to live a healthy lifestyle. And as you guys know, I did the Carnivore Diet. It was amazing. I was kind of more or less doing keto for about a year and a half. Really got into that. I need to quit yawning. This is going to ruin my stream. So that was a game changer, learning that my body needed to have more fat and get fat adapted. And yet I was coming from a vegan lifestyle too. I did that strict for about 8 months from what I remember, but then I just realized I had to cave and I had to start eating chicken again. And then kind of going from a chicken and rice diet while I was still trying to do my traditional bodybuilding, I decided to get into keto and give it my best. And I just wasn't sure where I was going to be going from there. But then once I got once I got past that keto flu-like state, I started kind of getting into where I felt that happy medium. I felt that transition, and I felt a whole lot better. It was really weird. But after that, after I had gone keto, I decided to take it to the next level. I saw that everybody was doing this carnivore diet, and I decided to go ahead and just go balls to the walls and go all in. And after 3 weeks, I started noticing some different changes. I started noticing some different changes in my body, I'm starting to become more aware of some different things that were going on that I hadn't experienced before, even with keto, or even if I had my cheat meals, which, nobody's perfect. I would slip in and out and try getting back into ketosis after having those cheat meals. And I paid for it, but then I was able to slip right back into it and get back into the groove. And I was able to do what I needed to do and so on and so forth. So then I tried the carnivore diet, and I did it for about 5 weeks, as you guys have seen on my channel. If not, check it out. There's a whole playlist for you guys to check out. And I didn't really experience the cognitive benefits till afterwards. And it was just amazing. I couldn't stay on the diet for very long because of how expensive it was getting for the meat. And so I decided to go back to keto or do more of a modified carnivore diet. And really, it's like carnivore diet is more of an elimination diet. And I really think that it's a good way to fast if you're going to go on to a fast of some sort, or if you're trying to figure out what is actually eating at you, what is actually killing you possibly from the food that you've been eating. Because let's just face it, guys, we don't live in a natural world anymore. We live in more of an unnatural world. And it's hard for us to adapt and to feel better, to try and keep our health and get our health back on track where we are at, And I think that was one of the reasons why I did the diet in the first place and why I wanted to give it a shot. And it worked for me. It did work for me. I had a lot of allergies that I would get every year, and I didn't have them plague me in the early winter month. And I did that for the carnivore month just to kind of stay on the trend. And I did it for the month of January. So some interesting things though I'm learning is that, I guess, depending on your caloric deficit, you can get just enough calories in on a vegan diet. And I think that's where a lot of people have been going wrong. And it has to be somewhere in the 2,000 calorie range to try and get all of that produce and extra plant fats in. As I had recently done a cleanse. I won't get too far into it, but it's something that I've done as a routine maintenance program for myself over the years, and studying a natural healer by the name of Dr. Schultz, who he had actually learned from Dr. Christopher. And I've mentioned those names a few different times on my channel, and I've actually talked about their cleanses and processes. And I don't know, every time I did that routine cleanse, that routine bowel cleanse, I felt like a new man. I felt better. Don't know what to say. I'd only do it for about 5 days straight. Be very strict with my eating. There was even one time, wasn't the same cleanse, it was more of an advanced cleanse that I had done, and I had only drank juices for about 3 days while eating raw foods for 2, the beginning and the end of the fast. And I felt better there too as well. So I've done a lot of experimenting too with those plant-based diets. And I still had some pretty good results. I was more or less, it came down to protein. It came down to animal protein versus plant protein. Whereas if you're going to be eating plant protein, what I've learned of recently, you must add more per serving to your intake versus the amount of animal protein that you'd be taking in, where it's going to be less. It's probably only going to be about 3 servings of 20 to 30 grams of animal protein, versus to meet those 25 to 30 grams of animal protein coming from plants, you'd have to take in about 4 to 8 cups of, we'll just say, quinoa. And I may be saying that grain wrong, but there's a lot of protein packed in that. And maybe I'm saying that wrong. I'm trying to think of what the plant name was. So I apologize for that, guys. Maybe you guys can leave me a comment. I've got the comments going live. So and tell me what plant-based, high protein plant-based protein that you can ingest. So yeah, I mean, obviously my channel's about health and wellness. I like to talk about diets. I like to talk about workouts. And I like to talk about those things on my channel. And I've been trying to learn how to be more well-rounded. You know, there's a lot more to life than just meditation, books, and different diets, cleanses, and being fit. So let's see here. Kind of going down the list. You guys have also seen on my channel, for those of you that have been around the longest or have viewed those videos from a couple of years back, I am also a Wim Hofer. I'm a deep I'm a deep breather of sorts. I like to Wim Hof. Wim Hofing has been key in my life, and I found out that was another way that I could detox my body and cleanse it to a degree, with just deep breathing. And I love it. I love it so much. I feel so good after doing sessions like that. And when I combined that with meditation, something just clicked. Something just switched on. I knew that after that, it took me a while to really learn how to breathe deeply with the Wim Hof method. But once I got myself trained enough to pursue that and then finally do a workshop. Sorry, guys. I'm lagging here on the brain. Once I was able to finally do a workshop, it just blew my mind, thinking like, how in the world can you just heal yourself, cleanse yourself, alkalize the body with just breathing? You know, and when you get more into the science, you get to see all the factors that are in play. And he goes through the science with you. I mean, this guy has created his own brand. He's got an app that you can use. I've been using the app for years. I just use it to just guide me and keep me accountable. Not just accountable, but to keep me focused and to get me focused again too. Whereas I'll go long stretches without doing the method. But I have trained myself to the point to where I've made it a part of my life and my lifestyle. So if I ever do go into those deep breathing sessions, I'm able to go to a deeper level again, and I'm able to go in here subconsciously and presently as well. Like I'm able to stay present too through the whole thing, while at the same time you're getting high on your own supply, as he would say. So but yeah, I took that workshop back in 2018. I went to Portland, Oregon, and I met a great group of people. I think it was Michaela and Brad. I might be saying their names wrong. So yeah, and that was able to get me to the next level in life where I was at that year. And it helped me just to do better. It helped me just to do better with my work, my workouts. One thing that I've tried to do after doing some good lifting sessions is to do the Wim Hof method afterwards. And I guess the science is in that you could get the CO2 out of your body after, and lactic acid too. So the CO2 pulled out of your muscles after you've done the Wim Hof method, after having a good training session in the gym. And so tried to do that a few times. Every time that I would get home from the gym, though, I was just starving. I was hungry. it's going to eat my own damn hand if I didn't make up some eggs or cook up some burgers or anything like that. So I had to figure out a way to make some extra time after the gym to practice that method. And I'm really thankful that I learned that method. I'm really thankful that I found those podcasts that kind of led me into studying it, to getting the app, and just really trying to understand it more and learn more about myself, because I learned that I was killing my ego and learning to just go with the flow and just let things happen. But Brad and Michaela, they taught me a lot, and I wanted to try and continue to be with them and be a part of their group. I just wasn't able to make the time, make it out to some other ventures that they had. They're doing tons of stuff with the Wim Hof method, and I'm just thankful and blessed that I was able to go to Portland for that time and do a workshop over the weekend. Pretty short. It was a long and short weekend at the same time, but it was pretty awesome. So I got a playlist there too on this channel. You guys can find it. Just check out the playlists. So yeah, so that's basically me in a nutshell. Lived a lot of life, and be fooling you guys with my age and how I look. But yeah, you guys, I'm just all about this. I'm all about trying to do better and be better. And one thing that's been on my mind lately, though, too, is that, every great life has had a great renunciation. And that was something that Zampirion said. I haven't even read his book yet, but I'm going to. But I remember him talking about that in one of his videos. And recently watched, it was like a newsletter from the Ars Amorata newsletter. And it's a pretty good group. Like it a lot. They talk a lot about beauty, the relationship dynamics between men and women, and how those interplay and interject in our lives, and how they make us more complete. And yet, talking about how men are adventurers. Now, adventure is out there in life. To go towards adventure. Go towards the fear, the unknown, so to speak. And it just takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot of energy. But at the same time, it really takes nothing at all. You just got to renounce. You got to renounce what is present in your life and possibly what is not going in the route where you want it to go. It's possibly like where maybe things are not going your way. And you realize that this is just a job or a company that isn't serving your purpose, and that you need to get out of it. Enough said. So I really took that whole phrase to heart, and it's made me think about a lot with what I do with my life and what I want to do with my life. And so I just always, when I'm meditating or when I'm just sitting and I'm just being present, I'm even praying, and just being mindful meditation, where you don't even have to really think about anything. Those things kind of just pop into my head, and I just kind of get into that flow state, thinking about what I want to do with my life, as well as meeting a lot of great men and women here on this channel and in my life that are doing great things right now. They're doing great things. They're helping people. They're providing value. That's their business. That's their brand. That's their service that they're giving to people. And in exchange, what they get back out of it is their purpose. Okay? And what they get out of it is they're helping people. It's the equal exchange, I would say. And I think that's the life of an entrepreneur, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And who knows? Maybe nowadays, maybe it's not even called entrepreneurism anymore. Things are changing so much. But yeah. All right. Learning to be present. That was a game changer for me. So on this podcast, this will be a project for me. I don't know exactly how things are going to go, but all I can really tell you guys is I'm going to be doing weekly to bi-weekly episodes just to allow time for the people that I'm collaborating with and to give them time to get back to me, to help me out. And so that way I can help out and be accommodating to them. I'm going to be talking to a lot of different people in different countries, some that are local within my country and some of them that are close by, you know, and we're going to see where this goes. We're going to see what it becomes. We're going to see where things take off. But if anything, it's not just going to be a general talk or anything. The point of this will be to help people grow, and to help push out content. And if anything, it's more or less networking. But at the same time, my goal with my channel and with my podcast is just to help you guys grow in whatever you're doing and with whatever you want to do with your life. And maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you're just starting to take those steps. Maybe you're just starting to take the small little steps, those incremental steps to getting towards what you want to do. Or maybe you're already halfway there, or maybe you're already doing it. Maybe you're halfway there. You're almost there to drop that money, to drop that website, to get things going, to get the fruition going, you know. Or maybe you are already there. You already have your brand. You're already getting things planned out. You're already getting things rolling. You know, this is it's a never ceasing thing. Like when you compare yourself to yourself, you always know that, well, hey, I could have done that better. I could have made that a little bit more cleaner. I could have put one more rep into that bench press. I could have done one more curl. I could have ate one more meal today that wasn't a cheat day, a cheat meal. You know, it can really come back to anything. Oh, I could have meditated for about 3 or 5 more minutes. I had the time, or I could have read a little bit longer and gotten through 10 pages, or I could have read at least 5 sentences. So it ranges with everything, guys. There's always something that we can do to get better, But yeah, this is the TheLJEffect Podcast, the pilot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading some of the comments, and we'll go ahead and wrap this video up. So I got John 37. What diet are you on right now? Well, John, currently I'm on just standard keto. I'm mainly eating ruminant animals like red meat and eggs, but I'm keeping the greens around. I like having the greens. And I do feel a little bit better. You guys have seen the Hulk shakes that I've done. Hulk load shakes. Those are really good. If you guys haven't seen those videos, check them out on the channel. They're on there. And I think that you guys would really like that shake. That was created by Joe Rogan himself. And he's not really much of a keto fan or anything like that. He likes to eat well. He likes to eat healthy. I think he is more or less keto. I'm not too sure what Joe Rogan does. I know that he tries a lot of things. So John 37, if that answers your question, I'm on the keto diet. Without getting into it too much, I recently did a cleanse, and I went clean for about 5 to 6 days. And when I say I'm eating clean, I usually mean that I ate nothing but vegetables, and I drank fresh fruit and vegetable juices for about 5 days straight. While eating raw. So I was just doing a clean diet. And actually that jogged my memory. If you look up a guy named Golden Era Bodybuilding or Golden Era Bookworm, he talked about how bodybuilders would actually do a week-long clean cleanse. They would consider it a detox where they would just eat nothing but plant food, almost like a vegan style diet. And then when they would compete, a lot of them just did the steak and eggs diet. So basically keto, but severe keto where they didn't have any vegetables. And that was like maybe 6 to 8 weeks out when they were about ready to compete. So And crap. That was the other thing I forgot to mention. I did do a bodybuilding competition. I did men's physique in 2018, and I took 5th place for the open in my weight and height category. That was the other thing I was going to talk to you about. When you have a goal, when you have some drive for something, you will put all your energy into it. I did the best that I could without a trainer. I don't recommend it. It's very hard to do. I recommend that you get a trainer. The next time I do it, the next time I make that go around, if I do another competition in the future, I'm definitely going to get a trainer just to cover my bases. So that way I can learn how to pose and I can do the poses right. Because I did nothing but look at YouTube videos, got some help from some friends, got some help from Elisha Long, and I just posed in front of a mirror at home. So talk about grit and drive. That's what I did. I would love to do it again. Kind of amazing with everything shutting down, how limited you get when you have nothing to do for like 3 months, but you're not limited, so to say. You're as limited as you are up in here. If you don't think you can do it, you can't do it. But if you do think you can do it, you can do it. You will make something happen. So, man, I completely spaced that too. That was a really good time in my life too. I wanted to talk about that. But I mean, in a nutshell, it's either a part of your life or it's not. It's not for everybody, because there's men and women that eat, sleep, and breathe for competitions. Just physique in general. It's not not normal bodybuilding competitions. And the bodybuilding competition didn't happen till later in the evening. But by the time ours was done, we had started early that morning, and we wrapped everything up by 1, and it was just a whirlwind. All I knew is that I got a trophy, I won, I placed, I did good, I did great. So I did great for that, for my first time. And I just wanted to soak up the experience. It was awesome. Mysteriously Kind says, hello, Mysteriously Kind. I have a huge interest in personal development. Well, man, welcome to the channel. I hope that you will subscribe. Maybe you already have. If you haven't, stay tuned for new and upcoming content, man. Have a comment from the Foundational Man. Good day, sir. Good day, mate. Kruger, good to see you, man. The Foundational Man. Glad to see you there. God Anthony makes videos. I'm digging the deep V-neck, bro. Hey, man. I'm digging it too. I need to get a few more different colors. I like it. I need to try and fill it out a little bit more. I've been off the wagon for a little bit. So thank you for the comment, and thanks, Anthony. I appreciate that, man. Good to see you. We have Madison. When it comes to health in your life, what do you prioritize and how do you emphasize those things? It's a good question. When it comes to health, I try to make sure that I'm eating the right foods. I try to make sure that I'm eating good food. And as I've talked about on this live stream so far, I've experimented with a lot of different diets. And I think that as long as you're staying away from processed foods, processed sugars, and foods that you're allergic to, because I know that that's playing in as a factor. People have more or less autoimmune disorders now than ever. And it's because they are allergic to certain foods. When you stay away from those 3 things, you're going to be well. You're going to clear up and clean up a lot of things in your diet and in your health. So that's one thing that you could prioritize, is just eating and cooking at home. Eating and cooking at home, and staying away from anything that's in a box. You can get fresh produce, do that. If you can get good meat from a local farmer, do that. Have good, healthy fats around, good, healthy animal fats, butter, things of that type. Raw milk. And raw local honey. You don't eat under your own fig tree. That's really good to do too. Goat's milk and honey. That'll throw some weight on you, and it will help you sleep at night. So give it a shot, guys. Bet you weren't expecting that. So thank you for the question, Madison. And how do I emphasize those things? I think consistency is key. I think consistency is key with anything. When you are consistent with having a good diet and doing some sort of an activity, as I talked about earlier, I talked about different ways of being aesthetic. If you do yoga, you're going to be flexible and strong. If you do weightlifting, you're going to be strong. And depending on what your goals are, you're either going to get yourself lean and cut, or you're going to bulk yourself up and get strong and big. So then that changes the fact in how many calories you're taking and what calorically dense foods you're eating. That's going to help you out. It all depends on what your goals are. If you are an unorthodox lifter, if you work out in an unorthodox way, it's going to be a different story, depending on what your goals are and how you're going to accomplish those set goals. If you're a fighter in MMA or boxing, you're just going to be lean, and you're going to want to eat in a way to where it's going to give you optimal energy to be able to have that kind of endurance body while have explosiveness and power, but you're also trying to develop a skill. So between having explosiveness and power, skill is probably going to win overall, because even the strongest man in the arena, if he doesn't have any skill, if he doesn't know how to fight, he's going to lose. So diet plays into what your fitness level is, what you want to do to stay fit. There's also calisthenics. It's another way to train. You get very strong, you can get lean. And for some people that I follow, there is a way to build muscle on it. It's almost close to a hypertrophy kind of training, but it's also a time under tension, if that makes sense. And I'm just speaking in generalizations because I don't know too much about it, but I have done it in the past, and I do it currently as well. But calisthenics is another way to train and to be active. And as for between fighting and HIIT cardio workouts, it's the best way to develop your muscles and to develop your cardio very well versus just standard running. So there's also a new thing that's a little bit easier on your knees called rebounding. Mini trampoline or on a trampoline, it's a lot easier on your joints. And it also activates, and trying to think of what the numbers were for the cardio for cardio, but with rebounding, I heard that rebounding is very good for cardio, and it saves your joints from the impact of running. While at the same time, one of the health benefits with rebounding is it moves the lymph fluid when you're shifting your body up and down like this. It shifts your lymph fluid, causing you to circulate that more through your blood and through your lymph system. And when your lymph system is moving, it's able to detox more. It's able to eat up more of the bacteria or viruses that are floating around in your body. And it causes you to activate and fire up your immune system from a physical transition versus like an internal transition. So what I mean by that is you could take something called echinacea as an herb to boost your immune system. And that would be an internal way, or you're eating good, healthy food that's got vitamins, minerals, nutrients, nutrient-dense food. And that's also going to keep your immune system at a good peak and keep you strong. So before I started drinking the milk, I had a Superfood Plus drink. It's something that I've been taking for like the last 12 years. And that is a very nutrient-dense multivitamin. It has all your vitamins and minerals, all your essential vitamins and minerals, all your essential minerals that you would get from the earth, the dust of the earth, as well as a few different green herbs and specifically hand-picked wild harvested herbs to help you assimilate what you're eating and what you're drinking in at that time. So yeah, I digress on how to emphasize those things, but if that answers your question, Madison, that's what you could do to emphasize on your priorities for your health. So it all goes back to what you're eating on your diet and what kind of fitness you're doing or you're into, what kind of activity. Diet will always come first before you try to do any kind of supplementation. So get your diet down first, then you got to choose what you want to do for fitness, what your goals are, what you want, what kind of a body you want, and how you want to develop yourself. So I hope that answers your question. Rye, sup, bro? It's Parm. Parm, what's going on, man? Been a hot minute. So I'm glad that you're watching, or we're watching. I don't know if you still are or not. Looks like I got 3 people. I got 4 likes so far. This is awesome. Anthony says, also, I'm loving the setup. It looks like I'm loving the setup. It looks like you got there. Thanks, man. Yeah. I recently had to move some things around from the last couple of videos from what I've seen for the angles. And so I figured this would be best for the webcam. And I'm loving it. This is the angle that I want. So just got to get a more comfortable chair. So, but I also hope that you guys are hearing me okay. Hope that you guys are hearing me okay in the mic. I hope that I'm not too quiet. So far, this mic has been working. I had a little bit more of a different idea for the sound quality, but after a couple months of trying to figure it out and getting some editing software going, I just realized that I was running a little bit behind. So I wanted to go ahead and start this pilot episode. Come hell or high water, we all got to start somewhere. Like I said at the very beginning of this stream, we all start somewhere, even if it's complete and total crap. We all got to start somewhere, right? I mean, like, the Joe Rogan podcast didn't start just being awesome, having all these guests on and stuff. I mean, he literally started it out of a friend's basement, and he had like some kind of a weird backdrop that had a bunch of snowflake pixels in the background. I think it was some sort of a Christmas episode. I could be completely wrong, but he was talking with a fellow comedian. So there was that. But yeah, so I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, regardless of where you go. I think the key is, I know the key is your consistency, how you develop yourself, and then how you develop your content play big factors in what you're trying to do and what your goals are for what you want to create for your brand, for whatever your niche is, you know? So yeah, Anthony, that's what I mean by that, you know. And I don't know, it's interesting. I didn't think that my life was going to go down this route. I didn't think my life was going to go anywhere near this route, but it just started going that way. So figured I would just start now. Get this up off the ground and just see where it goes. You know, I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think that I know that I got potential for great things. I'm in a bit of a transition in my life right now, though, so I'm trying to figure out where those big things are going to come from, where they're going to happen, you know. And sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes it just happens, you know. And then sometimes from just enough consistency with enough growth in your own personal self, your own personal development, your own self-development, when you finally step into your greatness, you start to see that. You become that. And it just doesn't happen. Then you realize that it doesn't happen by chance, like with some people, you know. Trying to think of that other, since I got Joe Rogan on the mind, I'm trying to think of that podcast he talked with some guy who's an entrepreneur. I can't think of his name. I think it was like Naval. I think it was that Naval podcast. So, all right. And Parm says, the Hulk shake is nice, man. I usually add more fruit for the taste. Yeah, man, that's what I had to do too. I like how he chose those fruits, and really you can do anything with it, you know? And that's what I did. That's what I chose to do. I chose to add those blueberries and then just the one fruit on top of it. Excuse me, guys. It's just an apple, a pear, or chunks of pineapple, not the whole pineapple. So Otherwise, you guys would have a thick shake. And I did have to adjust that because the original shake is 3 to 4 stalks of celery. Cannot get that thing down, dude. It's too thick. I can, but man, it's too thick. I can only do 1 stalk of celery because I'm only a $1.40, $1.30 now. Lost some weight on that cleanse, so oh well. But I'll get it back. So yeah, Barm. Yeah, definitely get those greens in, man. I would say try to get those alfalfa sprouts. I don't know if you got to try that out yet or not. Try throwing in some alfalfa sprouts, dude. I felt a rush when I blended that thing up first thing. Like, felt a huge rush of just circulation, because with the garlic, so and ginger. But that those alfalfa sprouts really topped it off, man. Just like good nutrient dense sprouts right there, man. Full spectrum. Between those were what I saw. Those were the sprouts that I saw that were available at the stores that I could shop at to get organic, fresh stuff. And then I saw broccoli sprouts. I have no idea how that would taste. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video for you. Okay. See if I can try out broccoli sprouts in a Hulk load shake. And the alfalfa definitely has a taste to it. So, all right, still watching. Gotcha. All right, and then we got a question from first name, last name. All right, first name, last name. Thanks for watching, man. Saw your travel vlogs. Going to be driving from Oregon to Missoula, Montana. Any good stops? Okay. If you're going to Missoula, Montana, look up Weir Creek. It's literally called Weir Creek. W-E-I-R. Sorry, man, I'm a little tired. Gonna be ending this soon. Or W-I-E-R Creek. Weir Creek. And then also look up Jerry Hot Springs. Jerry Hot Springs. Since you're going to Missoula, Montana, those are some great stops. The reason why I'm recommending that you stop there is just for basically that last name and site, Jerry Hot Springs. They are both hot spring sites. I think you'd like those hikes. Since you've seen my travel vlogs and you like to travel, I'd recommend checking out those hot springs, man. Definitely need to get some video footage of going to a hot spring. It's a lot of fun. It's super relaxing. It's about 3 hours from my hometown where I'm from. So it's not too long, but at the same time, it is a long drive. So they're just way out there, but tons of hikers, travelers, tourists, they go there all the time. So tons of people go to those hot springs because they're definitely hot spots. So definitely check out the Jerry Hot Springs. They were destroyed by the forest fires from a couple years back. And then there was like some sort of flooding, I think, when I went with a friend, and they had advertised in their state newspaper that they were going to do a program for basically free labor to rebuild the hot springs for Jerry Hot Springs. So once they got those, I'm assuming it's been a couple years since I've been out there. I'm pretty sure they got them rebuilt, so they should be up and running properly now. Yeah, for some reason it was like the runoff and wash off from the river or snow washed everything out. It was a really weird season that year when everything got washed out, and then the fires on top of it didn't help. And that was from about 4 years ago, I want to say. Just burnt out my valley where I was living at, and we had thick smoke for 4-5 months, I want to say. Man, those fires didn't go out till winter. It sucked. I was literally wearing a mask, like what everybody else is wearing right now, only with like filtration systems. I even got one that have 2 oxygen cartridges. I wore that driving around town because of the smoke, because of the fire. And I was starting to get like hacking up a like get a hacking cough and it was just coated with smoke. So that was where I was living at the time when those Montana fires went around. So it's pretty intense. So, all right. We're coming up on the hour. I wasn't expecting to get this far, but I wanted to read your guys' comments. So first name, last name. If that answers your question, definitely check out those hot spring sites, Weir Creek and Jerry Hot Springs. Good place to go. So Parm, last thing you said, yeah, bro, the kale makes it thick as hell. Yeah. I only do 4 leaves of the big leaf kale, man. So that's what I do, and I like it that way. I did the original bunches too. The stems are just thicker, but when I do the large leaf kale, the stems aren't as thick like they are, but they're more thin and they're easier to whip up, especially with the Vitamix. I've seen your Vitamix, so yeah, good stuff, Parm. Thanks for watching, bro. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. This wraps up the TheLJEffect Podcast. Thank you for joining me. It's the pilot episode. We are done. I'm glad that everybody could join me, and whoever was watching, thank you for sticking around and watching. If you left comments, thank you for the comments. And from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. For all my fans that are out there right now, I think we're at 305, and I just appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the channel and that wants to be a part of my message, and just you guys like me for me, and I like you guys for you guys. And I love that. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Appreciate this a lot. And before I go, I'm just going to mention, I'm going to leave some links down below. It's going to help up the podcast. Have a Patreon account. It'll be set up. I've had it set up for a couple years now. I will be doing exclusive episodes for the podcast there as well. So for a small fee, you will be able to get access to that. And it's just a donation platform. So it's not going to be very much. It's literally going to be as much as a cup of coffee from Starbucks. So, and I'm just going to go from there. And then any donations that you feel that you would like to donate to the value of this message that was presented to you today, you can go ahead and leave a donation down in my PayPal account. And all this money is going to go back to fund the podcast for better audio equipment, sound quality, editing software, all of that. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to be putting that money towards this project to see what happens. And as far as the revenue goes for it, I want to give this to you guys for free. If you guys want the exclusive episodes, you guys will just have to check it out on the Patreon account. And any support, any patrons that I get, I thank you. And just choose the tiers. You'll have more to choose from here soon in the future. And that's what I will be able to provide for you guys. So, yeah, still going strong, guys. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. So, kick off tomorrow, starting like guns a-blazing for the weekend. All right? Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. The TheLJEffect Podcast, affecting your mind and body to becoming your most authentic self. Peace.